Ladies and gents, welcome to a very unusual Friday night edition of Question Time Live, which gets us up to episode 141. Can't believe it. We're nearly at 150 episodes of this, which is what is that? 150 hours altogether. That's absolute madness. That's absolute madness. So yeah, things have shifted around a little bit because I was planning. We did an auction last night. I was planning to do another one this evening, and yeah, something's changed. Something's changed, which means yeah, shit just got a bit cooler, to be honest. Therefore, I thought, right, sod it. Let's and rather than do a full, I need to do a video next week with a full rollout on all these bits and bobs. But thought let's catch up on this. I don't know who's going to be about or where exactly we'll get with this episode. But as always, if you are tuned in, help me out or help you lot out. Get some questions fired in for me to work to. And this beginning segment, I'll probably do midway through or towards the end again as well. But the reason I've pivoted from doing the auction, I've still got to get the prize competition fish out, the goshki, which I'm going to do after this while I wait for me pizza. And I've made a decision tonight that I had to open the bottle of green stuff. Got it on the Hulk juice, as the kids call it. Power me up or power me down, depends how much of it I have. Oh fuck! I've lost my thread where I was at there as well. Yeah, prize competition. The lads have been working very hard in the background, and yeah, well, we've managed to push out the next major part of the platform at Ricky Stoddart Nishikigoi.com, which is the auction side of it, and registration for new users has been pushed this afternoon. It's sat there. There's no fish on it right now, but it's there. It's tested. It's robust. It is. I mean, it's an auction side for us. For me, it's in particular, it's game changing because the amount of work it's just took out the equation. It adds the first level of complete automation of tie-in to that My Collection page that you've got. So what that means is the minute an auction ends now, using that, if you are the winner, you can go through and complete payment there straight on the platform. It's not got to be instant either. You know, you can add a few fish up or whatever it is, and then from there, any services, you know, additional growing or anything there can all be applied, and it will instantly appear in your My Collection page from there on in. Which is yeah, it's just that next step. I mean, the rollouts, one I have not even discussed. I'm going to save that for next week when I do the full video. Some of you in grow outs have experienced part of it as we've done it. It's partially rolled out, but this is just going to be constant now. With each step, you'll probably see me grinning more and more as this thing gets cooler and cooler. It's mad. It's mad. You see how I was using the picking system we've developed today. Again, you know, the speed that's allowing us to get it done. It's quite remarkable stuff. So that's awesome. That is there now. What we've also opened up is registration to new users. Now, if you've ever bought fish from me, you'll already be in there. And if you've done the verification, you'll already know you'll be logged in. If you didn't do the verification, you might have a bit of trouble. So if you have bought fish from me before and you know the email address you've used, what you actually need to do is just go on there and go to log in and do a password reset. Use your email address and it'll take you through. However, if you haven't purchased fish from me as of yet, and you'd like to get yourself on there, you can head over to, in fact, I'm going to put it in the comments now, Ricky Stoddart Nishikigoi.com, and you can hit register and you can get yourself in. in preparation for what is going to be the maiden auction on Sunday night, and I can't wait. I really can't wait because what it's going to allow us initially to do is actually be able to put a wider range, a more diverse range of fish out there. And as well as that, rather than the sort of hour and a half, 2 hours they've been dragging over, we're going to be able to condense it down and get it into a more compact and punchy hour as well. So over the course of tomorrow, I'm going to be rolling out previews. So the fish will start loading onto there. That's going to be available on the Sunday. Then on Sunday night, we're actually going to do it and make Dan sweat and see if we can actually manage the old see how we all get on with it. So yeah, I can't wait. I really can't wait to give that a go, guys, to see it. Just that next step on this incredible journey that we're on. I can't, 6 months from now, I think it'll all make even more sense. I think you're getting a gist for it already. It's just really building an experience that's, I don't think, really known before for sort of by Dan's there. Look, he's not sweating. You will be, Dan. You will be, mate. Brilliant. So yes, that's that bit. I'll reiterate again towards the end. You need to start firing me some questions into this chat, ladies and gents. All right, it's going to be a very, very short question time episode. Let me tell you, because I've got no backup plan. I'm relying on you guys here to make this happen. So come on, get them in. And of course, as I slip more of that down my neck, who knows what I'll end up doing. Anyway, nowhere near enough yet. Yeah, so that's where that is. So Sunday night, there's some cool fish, like I say, be able to preview them tomorrow. I have got one Ginrin Benigoi that's going to have some growing with it as well, which is an in-demand fish and a bit of a kibby special as well, amongst others. And this is why you might have noticed within the groups we've really not been as active as normal with the fish that we've been pushing out. And that is because I think I kind of held off because of the level. We've been in this weird phase whereby having the platform in the background, it's actually added another element into the mix at the moment until we managed to make a full transition to it. So I think limiting the transactions has been a wise move, to say the least. But God help you all now, because it's going to be all hell let loose. I've got the fish. My God, have I got the fish? They've just been sat waiting for the moment to pounce. So yeah, mega stuff. Can't wait to share it. Like I say, Ricky Stoddart, Nishikigoi.com. If you've not bought fish off me before, feel free to get registered. You will have to be registered in order to bid. That one is very important. You can watch along, not a problem. So what I'll be doing on the night is actually splitting it. So we'll still be doing the hybrid. I'll be on a live stream, but rather than be on WhatsApp, it could be on the website on my phone. And actually, the cool bit of it all, and I don't know. I think it's going to be cool. So it's got what in England is known as the anti-snipe feature. Now I can run auctions two ways with it, but the anti-snipe is something that I've picked up from the Japanese auctions, and I think it's good fun, to be honest. So what that means is there is no bidding in the dying seconds. If anybody bids within the last, whatever time frame it is, with the Sakai auctions, for example, when I'm in there, if you bid within the last 5 minutes, I think it adds 5 minutes on, for example. So give people time to kind of mull it over a little bit, and I just think it could be quite fun in the live scenario. So we're going to play it out. We'll test it all out and see what happens. But yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be cracking fun. So I hope you can join me. Tom says, I preferred the auctions you've been doing where we can proper battle it out against one another. Yeah, I think that's the bit that's not to be missed, Tom. I think I like this in amongst it. I don't like the seriousness of I think the whole culture of this for me is not just buy fish, buy fish, buy fish, buy fish, buy fish. I mean, don't get me wrong, I fucking love that. I love to sell fish, sell fish, sell fish because I like to buy fish, buy fish, buy fish. That's how it is. But we want to have some fun while we're doing it. I've always believed it's the most in the fish hobby, no matter what part of the fish hobby it is. New fish is the most exciting part. I don't think anybody can deny it, but it should be a special process, a really enjoyable process, and that's what's at the heart of all this, and trying to build it out in that way. So when the auctions on WhatsApp got to a point where I noticed everyone's just waiting till last minute and firing it in, even I just even from my side of it, I thought this is wank. That's where I got with that. I thought this is fuck. Even for me, just sat here. Where's the fun? It's nice to see a battle when I'm taking a risk on a start price. You know, it's nice to see it battle and it be received, and just waiting till that end. There's no entertainment, no fun in that. And I think that's what for me anyway, especially this anti-snipe, such a horrible word, isn't it? I'll come up with something sweeter for that. Quite a cool concept. So we'll play it out. We'll see what it does. I won't do the 5 minutes and 5 minutes because honestly, that does drive me mad. And how the Asians in there actually use the system as well. They let the fucker run down right at last 10 seconds and then hit it with one, and that drives me potty. Think I've got it, and then bang, you am. So there is that to it, because I've ridden all the emotions of it as well. And personally, yeah, I find it frustrating. I find it exciting, good fun. So we've got the option to do both. We'll have a play around with it. Won't just stick with one. That's the point of it, and we'll have a good go. And I think when we combine it with the live aspect as we're all watching along, I think it could be really good fun. So yeah, boom, 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 boom. Love it. Love it. And I still can't see many questions, folks. I'm going to get to it now. Enough of that. I'm going to recap on all these bits at the end. But for now, Sunday night, make sure you're free. I'd love you to join in. If you haven't purchased fish from me before, I say it again, you'll need to register. Ricky Stoddart, Nishikigoi.com. I'm going to send some emails and stuff out on this as well. But yeah, the first big next step is here. So happy days. Right, let me have a scroll up to the top. Have another drink first, eh? Oh, it's phenomenal stuff, that. Just hits different. And thank you, actually. I was on about that last night. Thank you, NND Morley. Honestly, that level of koi dealer care is unbelievable, mate. So well impressed. Right, AJ Holes, that's Aaron Intip, is asking me any updates on the koi shows. Not any specifics right now. Being honest about it, with it be coming around to shipping season, absolutely prioritize getting that rollout done, because it's just carnage for us, and we got it. We are now looking to move into that next phase of actually getting that rolled out. So I get there's not massive amounts of you, but I get it's frustrating. Obviously, it's just on the back burner. I'm taking great care of your fish, as you would expect. They are coming on nicely. So we've still got that bit of it, not to worry, but we're going to get that concept obviously shaken out or rolled out bit by bit with what we've got planned for it very, very soon. God, fucking nose itching. What's Mickey saying? Good evening, Ricky, and everyone tuning in. Busy, I guess that's day at the farm. Yeah, that was it. So I actually forgot. The cool bit with the system now as well is that every morning at 7 a.m. We all get a text message to let us know how many collections and deliveries we've got that day going out. And then it comes to Friday morning, and the manifests, the picking list is generated for everything that goes out the next week. And I remembered very early this morning when I was starting to get on with a few bits, and by the time the day kicked in, it got to, and I was like, oh fuck. I said, Cole, we need to get picking done. And I logged in and saw, what was it, 63 fish or something like that. Like, fucking hell. That was crazy to see. It's been kind of in the 20s every week since we did it, and then boom. Which was nice. The funny bit about it was I looked and I thought, we've really got it done quick. It's really efficient. but I've actually had to we had to flip a pond around quick because I needed a bigger pond for the shipment preparation. And then we got on to uh, we picked them all 60 odd feet, and I kid you not, it just not a single pond they've come out of looks any different. The amount in them salt ponds is absolutely wild. So I think it's going to be in them 60s plus for quite a while from now on. But it was actually quite a nice feeling to get to know there's that amount of fish leaving the place next week. So thanks for that, guys. Genuinely. I missed the Sankey. I presume everyone was very lucky. Didn't see anything on the chat page. Sankey draw. Sorry, I'm being daft there, Gary. I can't recall which fish it was. All the draws have been done. They were on the channel. The links will be there in the chat somewhere, mate. Nice, right. Anyway, let's see where we've got. The nose roll on golden corn looks 9% healed now. Fantastic, mate. Glad to hear it. Oh, the Chagoi release on the event. Yeah, so that's another one. I am doing the photographing and microchipping on all that next week to start compiling it all in. Dan's got a few bits just to finish up on integrating the events bit we did into the main system, and from there we'll be getting a date thrown on that one to actually get the live draw done. In the meantime, they are, of course, we're getting that growing in. They're in a pond now. They're being fed well. They are moving, so plenty of extra value being added on those ones. The period, obviously, I don't start the growing period that I give you in the event. I don't start until we've done the event. So everything from this moment is actually all bonus time. Yes, there you go, mate. Not be long. Not be long. Gary, no, that's not a good time. I didn't do any of me homework or anything on that, mate. So yes, not at the moment. Tell you what, though, I don't know whether to. Well, fuck it, we will, because that's just triggered it. I've actually had some. I've had a firm in to quote, because you'll know the area where I stripped the greenhouses down. Still undecided. Well, I decided, and it was a few weeks back now, don't get me wrong, but I just looked at the space and you know what? And Chris were there with me at the time and says, I just need a fuck off pond there. I need a fuck off great big pond in my life. And yeah, got a firming because it's a shit space it's in. It really is, getting stuff in and out of it and all the rest. No good. So I've actually had the quote back today, and I must say I'm pleasantly surprised. And it looks like it might well be. It was going to be a goer anyway. I've decided, but it was whether we were all going to tackle it or just have someone come in and get the fuck done to the point where we can go and finish it. And I say that because you mentioned retention time. We've been loads of filtration chats today, so it's going to be really fun. I'm settled. That's what's going on there. One single pond. It's going to be, I think, I had it at about 45 feet long. Yeah, proper one. About 10 feet wide, and it'll be about a meter deep overall. I think it's going to be a lagoon, and it's going to be filtered properly. This thing's going to be built to do mass kiloage of food per day. So I think it's going to be interesting. Be a fantastic project to follow as well. Lots of decisions still to be made, and I've still got to just run through the quote properly with the builders. But oh god, how fun's that going to be? Cannot wait. I'm as tempted. Just there's enough space there for two of them, but I think I should probably get just a few more ponds on the area in front of it, not just the one, but not all at once. We've got to bit by bit. Sorry, what have I missed there? Oh, I missed Mickey's question. There we go. Quick question. When koi gets sick in Japanese farms, is it more about medication or keeping the water environment perfect? Always medication. In fact, I say that's bullshit. There's the two elements to it, but it depends on what the illness is. If it's parasitic, say it was bacterial, it's about medication. It's always about water. Water plays a big part. I've just had a batch of fish where, to be honest, it's the pond got overwhelmed. It's just all fell apart, and it's the water tanking the fish. Now they've thrown flukes, but the flukes are bad on it. But I know that's not the problem. I know they're a secondary problem because the water's just fucking battered the fish to the point where I don't pull it around. I actually moved them this morning, take them out of the environment to a much better pond now. The heat, the salts, and medication, and they were already pulling round. So it does depend on the scenario, but obviously it's getting to the root cause of what the problem actually is, depending whether you need to just improve the water or hit them with the medication, Vicky. So yeah, always case by case. Again, depending on what that scenario actually is. Oh, Simon, they're asking me. Sorry, I've tied that back in. Nagamis are going to come after when we've got the Chagois done, the Nagami event stuff. I didn't actually close that off properly either. So I'm going to do that this weekend, and then we'll move that through to processing, get it all over to the new system. Photographing is going to come after that, and we'll get that done. Will there be a photo of the Ginrin Karashi will be allocated on the My Collection page before you get? No, Royston, there won't with that one. Obviously, the big thing with the Karashi and the reason we kept the price so low is because there's not all the work. Hence why it was a random selection at the point. So there's the sample of the bowl on there, but it won't be individually allocated that way. We'll be allocating picking a fish at the time of shipment with that one. Hi, Ricky. What would your thoughts on pond pH of 8.1 with a swing of 0.5 daily and steady pH 5 to 6? That's obvious. Yeah. Hang on a minute. I need to have another drink. Right. Low KH in Japan for most of the breeders is a fucking nightmare. It's something that has to be managed. Of course, creates more problems. pH of 7, it's just what they're naturally dealt with. Most breeders just deal with what they're naturally dealt with. Don't give a fuck either way. They just deal with it and obviously create stability as much as they can from what they're dealt with. pH in Japan, this is the generalization of it. Look, pH of 7 in Japan, it varies across areas. There's actually one of the videos on my channel when I was having a chat with KB around the mud ponds of how much the pH varies just around one different area, which is exactly how it is. pH, KH, the whole thing, mass differences. A pH of 8.1, swing 0.5 daily is about normal if you're testing it that much. And KH of 5.6, you've got it spot on. You've got stability. That's it. Job done. Absolutely job done at that. Fucking around beyond it, something I do not do. You've seen the results I get. If you just don't need any more evidence, there is with me, no chasing certain pHs, KHs. I'd love more KH because it gives me a bit more stability in the system. It's just too hard to do with how I stock and feed ponds. So, yeah, you right there. To me, you've got it spot on. Would you like it lower? Would there be any benefits to being it lower? I'll tell you how you could lower it. If all of a sudden you followed my methodology and started fucking absolutely battering it with food every stocking level, you'd naturally acidify the water a bit more. You just don't want it. You've got it spot on there. It's more about, just this is how I always rationalize with this stuff. There's this thing about chasing a pH of 7 and low KH. If you then don't have the heat on the water constantly over summer, And then if you have the heat and then you don't know how to feed them properly, or you decide to heat it, you've got the low KH and you decide to feed the fuckers peaches and cream, let me tell you where it's all ending. Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Fat, shite looking fish is where that scenario would end. So don't yeah, it's madness. There's that kind of thing you can have as well with the old saying of all the gear, no idea. You know, you could have all the fucking so-called best equipment in the world, and I guarantee you, in most cases, you give me far inferior equipment so far. But with what I know, what knowledge and experience I have, I would whoop anybody in a results, to end results. It's just it's just immaterial stuff. The stability there, you've hit your jackpot if you're getting that. So yeah, always makes me chuckle, that one. And then I've seen, you end up with the old fucking big RO setups and all the rest of it, and all the same things are all perfectly achievable. And I've seen it. There was a merry-go-round once upon a time when I was a lot younger, and of course, a dealer who I respect a lot, to be honest. The whole culture of backy showers and his instruction of drums and the RO and whole concept. Love it, because that's that guy's philosophy. So fucking bravo, because not enough. I have one, he had one. Outside of that, I can't see anybody I know of generally who has anything like that, a philosophy in the way they do things. Because most, again, dealers in most respects don't actually keep fish in a raising perspective. They're just keeping them alive to sell them. So you've got that, but there's always there. I looked at that and I see the impact, and everyone's then looking at the results of the fish and going, well, if I get all that stuff, then I'll probably be able to do the same. Not forgetting, in all that, the fish have got to have the genetics. Even when they've got the genetics, the individual fish has got to have the right structure. And even when they've got all that, you've got to know how to feed them properly. You've got to use the right food. So good question, that one. You've got me going, haven't you? Eh? Absolutely fired up. So yeah, that's, you've got stability there. Fantastic. And as for the rest of it, I just find it fucking madness. You get dealt whatever you dealt with. Trying to change anything than whatever your source is going to lead to extra layers of complication, potentially stress and hassle in your hobby you just don't want. And this is why you actually see regions of Japan that actually become known for different varieties. So Uenuma Prefecture, where apparently the mud ponds have a lot of a rocky base, rocky-based mud ponds are known for keeping slightly clearer water, and the water within them is known for being better for showa. Hence why Uenuma Prefecture became an area in Japan where showa breeders cropped up all over the place, because they worked with what they had. They figured out that was best for the variety and went with that. That's how it is. That's them guys adapting to that scenario, and you see that across different areas of Japan as well. So again, I'm not saying that stuff works for some, and I get, in the hobby, for some, that complication is something they enjoy, the stress, the challenge, whatever it is. And if that's what you take from it, then fantastic. But certainly not a necessity in regards to keeping and getting results. Midori and very flat lemonade, just how I like it, because it's like syrup then, and it's an half and half measure normally, and it was taking koi industry by absolute craze at some point. Looks like antifreeze. That's how I get my kicks, mate. That's how I get my kicks. Hang on, what have I missed there? Asked about my pH/KH on an auction. Swings to 7.8 to 8.3. KH is stable-ish at 2.3. I've raised KH to 5 switch, and my swings are now 8 to 8.9. That's peculiar. Yeah, I mean, they're not a million miles away, are they? But again, I think the bit I'm going to point out here is, and genuinely, without sounding like an absolute plank, I just wouldn't know. No doubt if I did. The one thing I tested once as I saw the mass, because I got obsessed with it, is the mass fluctuations in oxygen levels, which is such a vital part of an ecosystem, especially for me with the stocking. But there's a big part of my whole thought around this is just too much information. We say all that, you've adjusted your KH and now your pH is this and that, you've got the swings. The bit I have to ask is, why do you need to know? Is it because your fish are unwell? I mean, don't get me wrong. If there's something happening that's making you think, oh fuck, I need to investigate deep into this. But other than that, you just don't need to know. I will be having pH swings. The extent of them, I don't know. I'm just monitoring the fish. All my attention goes on watching them. Certainly managing that oxygen. I don't test it all the time, but you can see the behavior of the fish. We know what's going off. And he's got established pond, no blanket reed, just nice green fill. Well, that's fantastic. But that's what I would fire back at you here in this one. There's much smarter people than me out there to tell you all the ins and outs of your swings. Obviously, it does happen in a pond throughout the day. What's expected? They're not major swings. They normally say if it's about 2 points in a short period of time is when it's considered a crash and causes massive problems. So even at 8 to 8.9, you're not in an unacceptable realm with it. But I just think, yeah, too much information as far as I'm concerned. Hi, Ricky Shimmies. Fucking slipped my arm then, I just felt it. Shimmies, are there certain varieties that suffer from them? Is it down to water or food, and do they ever disappear? Not naturally disappear. They are actually removed quite easily. Some sit that light in the top of the scale, you can often take them off with a fingernail. It's like a deposit within the skin, quite peculiar. Sometimes it's actually that they sit differently, so that's not possible with all of them. But what it tends to be, obviously naturally with kohaku, with Sankey, it's not really a thing. Showa, it's not really a thing. Karashigoi, get the red ones, very different as well because it's a different sort of pigment forming. But yeah, it's kohaku primarily. Now, water, yes, can affect them, but it'll be the water makeup. I'm not going to say hard or soft because you know full well I don't buy into that. It could be something necessarily in the water. But above all, the biggest thing I've seen over the years is that it penultimate or ultimately different types of Benny attracts shimmies more than others. Water, yes, can go and tank it as well, but it's the richest, deepest bennies can be prone to attract it a little bit more. And even some that aren't that deep and rich, there can just be a genetic issue with them. To be honest, I mean, from all the stuff I deal with, I see very few, but they can happen. They can crop up case by case. I've actually seen as well stress when colour's been stressed. All of a sudden, it form shimmies out from that. But they're complex things that, like I say, they can be removed as well. It's not an invasive thing or anything like that. I say some literally just with a fingernail. So, but I get it. They're frustrating. They really are. Just like with secondary Benny, it's equally as frustrating. So, yes, hope that's covered that one for you. Tony, what are you doing to me here? Tony's got me one on chlorine there, and I'm not going to go because I need to convert your measurements and bits like that for it to make sense for me. Tony, plus, so let's put it on, look. Ricky, can you make sense of this? Chlorine out the tap, 365. After Big Blues, 0. Pond, 46. I even read that wrong then, Tony, as well, to be honest. Right. So after Big Blue 0, Pond, I don't know. This is what fucking honestly, digital testers drive me crazy. What is it? What is it detecting? That is a very good question, Tony. I feel like that is for someone, again, more into that equipment What I would say is I think it's probably worth doing the you got the fallback, the DPD tablets, just to see if there's any, if that's picking up any traces as a fallback. Because as for the meters, I think you probably want to speak to Hannah there on what it could be doing. Because yeah, that makes absolutely no sense, buddy, and I can't provide any value on that one for you. Quite happy with the bigger swings. Would I be best maintaining a lower KH, meaning my swings are less severe? Yeah, I think one for me in that makes sense, Jay, is that just in that is that I think a lot of people worry if your KH is lower coming out of your tap, it's going to be harder for you to be fighting against it, maintaining a higher level, which might actually be contributing more towards the swings. So if you got 2 3 out of the tap, just try maintaining it there. And if you keep it consistent at 2 or 3, you've enough there to keep the buffering capacity in the water, keep the filters ticking over. And again, just from what I said earlier, sort of work with what you've got. Pierre, yes, we'll do a catch up in a little bit. Let's have a look. If I've got a fish saying shipment pending, but fish coming available soon, like Crash Go Gearing Shirt, sorry, can they all put together with no further shipping charges? John, you've got me. So if you booked a shipment, unless you've got to the cutoff, so Thursday at midnight, if it's saying we've got pending, you must have booked it on a shipment there with that one. I think they're in, rather than take everyone's time up, if you want to drop me a DM on that one, mate, we'll have a look at what's going off. But in general, pending shipment would mean you've gone and booked it. And then we close that at Thursday for this following week. So we won't be able to add anything after that one. Tom just saying that earlier question about the Sankey draw and Simon. Oh, yes, yes, I remember now. It was the Sakai Sankey one. Yes, Simon won it. Did very well. Thanks for the update on the shows. Congrats on the new high-tech website. Appreciate that. Any recommendation on products to add to an unheated pond at this time of year to get through this warming up period? Now, I think I've mentioned before, it can be beneficial to use a beneficial bacteria, something that's going to seed the positive bacteria as everything wakes up, to try and overwhelm any bad getting any dominance. So something like Columbo, PSB, or the lactobacterias, I think are a good shout to use, but you don't need to go too heavy. Biggest thing you need to be doing, obviously salt can help through that period. A 1/2 ounce per gallon, 0.3% background level is going to do no harm. And it might just be useful, just keeping on top of the fish health and not letting any parasites, go unchecked for too long. I'm unheated. If you had to pick one food for the entire, what would you go with? Balanced or all season? I would go with Sake Balanced. 100%. That'll be the Nagami ones coming on very well. Just a reference to it earlier. As soon as the Chagoi bit's done, we'll be moving on to them. If I want to have a pond up to 28 degrees, what time scale? Charlie, I'm going to have to ask why. Because, I don't see any reason for you wanting or needing to be at 28, mate. And it's life gets quite interesting when you're at that temperature. Yes, Tom. Yes. That's the one. That's the one. Brilliant. Yes, Kev, it has. I were on fence because honestly, I'm not in the mood generally for having a drink. I wish I could have that drink and it be non-alcoholic, to tell you the truth. But yeah, fuck it. It's been actually really, it's a bit of a celebratory one for the rollout for the next bit of the platform today. So yes, happy days. Hmm. All I'm going to say is not actually something uh, I was directly involved in, and moving on that one. No, I'm not. I'm not really on that at minute, Mickey. So not much about, but Mr. NND Morley got that gift from him with that, and last night I was tempted, and then I thought, fuck it tonight, why not? Opinion on water treatment for chlorine when topping up a pond, inline dechlor like the Evolution Aqua, liquid powder base. Yeah, so I use a lot of the Evolution Aqua ones. It's a good quality carbon in there. It can depend on your water makeup. I do like to use inline 100%. Obviously, you do need to maintain them. Liquid dechlorinator treatments, I give you all some advice now. I mean, I can at some point, I've got all the information, I just haven't got it to hand. But if you're using a liquid dechlorinator treatment, you can buy small amounts of sodium thiosulfate online and actually make your own mixture. So you've got that there as uh, a backup if you need to or use it. And it's on my list of videos when I've got somebody back in to actually go in depth on making stock solutions of that and actually how to use it properly, because there's a lot of misunderstanding about the stuff and the way it works. But in general, I prefer inline. I think it's your safer bet. But if the investment in one of them is too much, like I say, you can get yourself some sodium and even make a stock solution. It's very cost effective. I don't like seeing what's charged for dechlorinator in shops when you turn the fuck around and all it is 90 odd percent sodium thiosulfate and aqua, or in some cases they put fucking blue chlorine in to make you think there's something special in bottle. Crazy. Will secondary Benny ever become normal? Really depends. There's levels of secondary Benny, and the circumstances around how it came up can be yeah, depend can influence whether it could just go naturally or not. So Daniel. Yes, that is true. Very good point. Good day, Ricky from USA Mountains. Here, the question that I have is I've started feeding my koi black soldier larvae that's very high in calcium and protein. Is that good for the bone growth? Natural foods like that, I don't think there's any harm for it ever. You might find sometimes you get them on natural diets, you struggle to get them off it onto pelletized unless it's something absolutely delicious like sake. But yeah, I don't. Again, for me, I make sure we're covered off with a quality diet in the first place that I know is ticking all the boxes. Anything you can do in addition, but there's no harm doing what you're doing whatsoever. They're coming, Rob. Don't worry. They're. I'm hoping to get to it this weekend, actually. So stand by. I did the selection on my pond the other day. I'm in the States and can't even use all the features, but I still sit there for hours listening to the rollouts. Amazing. Absolutely admire that 100%. And we'll hopefully get to you guys before long. Because, yeah, this is going to be, it's cool. It's cool. It really is. uh yeah, it is. It's not even that, it's just the fucking too much information, honestly. All my time, and I don't get me wrong, I've not got the time for that amount of information, but that's probably the blessing. It's probably the blessing, and all that time is just focused. But in saying that, I genuinely can walk past one of the ponds where I don't like them covered, and out the corner of my eye, from a quick glance, will know if something's off. It's that kind of highly tuned. If I actually look at a pond in detail, I would guess in most cases I know if there was a fish missing very quickly. So when you're at that kind of thing of it, you're just doing everything, and it's the way the Japanese do it. It's very instinctively based and from experience. So I do understand from the other side of it, you guys that don't have that, especially the very new koi keepers, you rely on all these numbers for some reassurance and bits and bobs. But yeah, I think the bit that gets frustrating for me is when people have all this information and then start acting upon stuff unnecessarily when there's not actually even a problem, and potentially creates a problem. And believe me, I see that happen a hell of a lot. Still working in the background, buddy. Good things come to those who wait, is all I'm saying. One of my female Omaseko had secondary Benny surfacing. I turned the UV on and did water change. When I checked the following week, the Benny spots were gone. Yes, can be, Kevin, 100%, but not always. Oh, excuse me. Like I said, it really depends. There's different extremes levels of secondary colour. Some of it's not even secondary colour. Sometimes it's actual colour trying to come through, which is even more difficult to deal with. Hey, Ricky from California. How long does a recovery from a bacterial infection take, and when should I start feeding when koi fish is sick? The interesting part with that, recovery depends on how you're treating it, how bad it is. Actually stopping the infection, potentially with antibiotics, and over a course to get into full recovery of a wound, potentially to it scarring, healing over. I don't know the extent of it, so it's hard to say. But I think, if we talk about recovery as in potentially being safe to introduce anything or testing that ground, you want to be at least 3 months of no new infections, and then very carefully, tentatively going. And that's sort of like from thinking, right, everything's healed, everything's better, few more months, and then, look to introduce something that's naive and see what happens from there. It will be. It will be. They love the natural foods. Ricky, my male's getting fruity around the female already, and a large Benigoi has lost a scale near its head. It looks clean underneath, and the fish is not stressing. Would you advise the same? Yeah, the same what? Sorry, what have I missed there? Oh, sorry, would I say the same? Yeah, I would say so. 100% there that it's just knocked it. No doubt if it's on a Benigoi, it'll just be white-ish at the moment, probably not completely white. Give it time, it should just grow back and colour back perfectly. There's only one pond. What's your thoughts on koi treats or prawns, silkworm, pupae, shrimp, etc.? Do you think there are any pros or cons with this? I think for me personally, I think there are cons, and this is why, again, rather than spend the money on that, spend the money on getting sake akari. And end of for me. I think that clears up the debate, because problem is prawns aren't too badly controlled. It's silkworm fouls the water so quickly. And that's the chance of getting fresh, really good quality silkworm is difficult. Shrimp, the same, fouls the water quite badly. And with shrimp, that can actually be one of the triggers that can cause secondary colour. It's the carotenoids in it that can do it. So I'm not a massive fan of that stuff. And again, with that foul in the water, you're far better off having a quality pellet that can really just deliver it all, and putting all into that rather than spreading it out across other stuff where the net gain's probably going to be hassle and nothing particularly on the fish. Don't get me wrong, silkworm pupae is phenomenal stuff when you get the right quality and you can use it. For years breeders used it in mud ponds, but that's a mud pond. The pond can handle it. It's amazing how quickly it fouls up water. So if you ask me about silkworm pupae in that environment, I mean the shit's like steroids. It's unbelievable. But in your concrete pond, your closed system, and I'm just not seeing it or feeling it. And again with the prawns, no, if you've got that quality diet, and at the time of year when you'd be using that stuff, sake growth, for example, it does it all. Get the right amount of that into them. You just don't need to, and you'll keep your water consistently a lot better. What's that one, Richard? When will you be sending out certificates for the Pandora? Which batch are you referring to there, Richard? Because we've got them with the grow out event ones. And as far as I'm aware, I'll have to check that. There was no certificates for the ones that were sold after. But I will double check. And obviously, we've not sent out any of the grow out ones because they're still growing. But I will look into that and double check. Also, am I right thinking new scale will grow back smaller than the rest and possibly be non-ginrin? No. So it'll be a bit smaller to begin with. It's got to grow out, and if it's a ginrin fish, the ginrin doesn't grow. The ginrin will be on the skin that forms on the top of the scale, so that'll come back also. The ginrin's not. It looks like it's when it comes out. Generally, when the scale comes out, it yanks the bit of skin with it as well because it's sat on the scale. But the ginrin is in the skin, so not to worry. So I meant to just add more into the fish. No, you don't need to prat around with it. It just be fish lose scales all the time. It's just when it's a bit more polarizing, when it's a bright red fish, and then it looks light orange slash white underneath it. What's the best food to keep the colour? As mine seem to have lost colour all the time. You need a good quality colour food, and don't get me wrong, a good quality colour food won't bring back lost colour. What it'll bring back is intensity in good colour. So if it's colour that's actually breaking up, it's not going to fill it in with pigment, but it will enhance what's good and what's there. And good quality colour foods tend to be the or sakiyakar is the king of them, but the only quality ones I've ever seen have come from Japan. In that point, I know FD do a quality one, but it's actually more expensive than sake from what I'm aware, which is just fucking madness. So in that case, sake color would be the one. And the thing with it, it's so good. 2 weeks of using that straight, you will notice a difference in your fish, especially if you've got good lighting. If you're in a scenario where your pond hasn't got good UV exposure, you're not really going to see it make too much difference. That's still a very important part of it. Richard's second release. I'll have to check, Richard. I'm not aware that is something we offer with those because we just had a limited amount for the event ones to make up. But I will check it for you. It was a while ago. I'm at the bottom of the stack. Happy days. I suppose I should remind you about Sunday again now. We've got a lot more people in. That's gone down a lot slower because I'm doing a lot of talking, probably helping me out. It's like Pringles, that is. Once you pop, you can't stop. And not only that, I don't think I'm going to lie. I'm probably going to sit down and fall asleep again as well. Brilliant. Sorry, a couple more questions just come. Why not? Even everyone, hi Ricky, love watching this channel and fish are looking fantastic. Thanks for putting time into teach us. My absolute pleasure, Sean, and thank you very much for saying so. When treating for fluke, would you slow or stop feeding? With any treatment, I like to stop feeding. It's always a good idea to stop feeding a day before. You can just really, reduce the activity, biological activity in the water as well, which will help, help the treatment a little bit. Cheers, Ricky. So I noticed since covered up over winter, they lost colour. So yeah, I mean, you can even, so in that case, then even just getting the covers off and exposing them to the sunlight will naturally lift it up. If you go and eat that with then some colour food as well, but bear in mind with colour food, you want to be consistently above 18 degrees. Treat them a little bit like a grow food, to be honest. It's an old school classic, Kevin. Midorian lemonade. That's it. It's a good one. Honestly, I've got a few people hooked on it. Absolutely hooked. Right, back to it. Nose is itching like mad. What's Kev saying there? I use EA dechlorinated trickle in, then sodium sulfate when purging drains. 10% water change. Yeah, happy days. Someone asking me there as well, just off what can I ask what your target KH level is? My target is to stop it going below 2. That's for me. I mean, honestly, you see how I fucking rip KH out my water. It's ridiculous. But your target should be consistently, I think, 3 or above. If you can do it, your system will run fine. If your natural base water is closer to a 5 and a 6, keep it consistent there. You will notice a difference in performance, but ultimately that stability, as always, is the biggest thing. Problem is when you're at 3, you hit 2, you hit 1. It's when you drop below that 2, you will. The big thing I once described and got it bang on with a couple of people, your water starts smelling sour. It's a really, really good way of telling, because healthy water doesn't have much of a pong at all, and it just smells earthy, soily. You know, no fishy pong to it. Fishy pongs are different. That generally can come from ammonia or mucus being lost and building up in the water. So, but when it drops below that 2-1, you're starting to get a bit of die off in the water as well. And it starts smelling sour and not very nice, a bit pungent. So you know at that point you need to be building it back up, 100%. Joyful green stuff. There you go. Look, there you go. Class. Right. Last bit. I'm ignoring them questions now. In fact, let's get them off. The weekend, Sunday night. Please join me. So we have today, and that's part of that. It's a bit of a celebratory drink that we've rolled out the next bit of the platform at Ricky Stoddart, Nishikigoi.com. And that's now our auction functionality is live on that. So if you haven't purchased fish from me before and you want to take part on Sunday, it's going to be an auction live on that website, and you'll need to register beforehand. You go to the website, hit register, get yourself in. If you have purchased from me before and you haven't been logged in yet, you'll need to go press login, do a password reset with the email address you've used to purchase fish from me. And then that'll do some verification with you and get you in. You'll also be able to see your purchase history there. But the whole thing tomorrow, I've got fish to show you as well in a minute. Tomorrow, we will be rolling out the listings that are going to be on. There'll be an advanced preview on them. There's some cool bits, including a very, very in-demand Ginrin Benigoi that's going to include some growing with it as well, and some other bits. I've got some rockets lined up. And because we're going to be able to, it's going to be a bit more managed. There'll be quite a bit more stuff with lower start bids as well. We've not been able to do a lot of that because it's been hard to get to. But and we realise obviously that the starting levels of a lot of the stuff makes it prohibitive for a lot of you guys that do follow me and like to partake. So there's going to be a much more diverse mixture of stuff going on. You'll be able to follow along. So where we've been doing YouTube and WhatsApp, it'll be YouTube and the website, possibly through your iPad or your phone through the browser on there, whatever it is. And yeah, it'll all happen on. And this one on Sunday is going to use the what's known in England as the anti-snipe feature. It's actually something I got from Japan, where if you it doesn't allow all the bidding to come in the last minutes, basically. So we might set it that if you bid in the last minute, it adds another minute or 2 on. That's how that concept works until somebody eventually folds and the auction ends. So it should be really good fun. It's all on there. Can't wait for you to see it. Fingers crossed it doesn't break, because we don't want Dan will be there on standby anyway, if anything does. And then what will happen with that process from there on in is that now there'll be no invoicing like you've typically had. just straight after the auctions ended. You'll be able to, it'll be added to your basket basically, and whenever you're ready, you'll just be able to go and check out, complete it, and the fish will then automatically appear in your My Collection page. If there's a growing option, you'll have the opportunity to choose it, or you know, if you don't want it, you can choose not to have it. And if there are additional options, it'll all be on there. You can add it and deal with the whole thing there straight away, which is amazing. And then obviously that leads on to, if they're fish for shipping, beyond that, you can then, whenever you're ready, go into the shipments tab and book the shipment for any fish you've got available with me and ready to ship. We've actually disconnected the two because you look at the general thing, and because we are flexible in the approach, I see no need for forcing you into booking a shipment at the time of making your purchase. That's handled separately when you're ready to go in and get it done, which is pretty cool, I think. Happy days. That's, oh, hang on, I forgot dinner. Hang on. And then what I'm about to go and set up, we are having a prize competition, the next one up and running with that absolute beast. I mean, look at it. That is an absolute prime Kondo Goshki I've been raising, Nisai female. I mean, look at that fucking floating belly. That is just absolute levels, is it not? Really full body. And I've been sat on this one because I wanted to get the base more developed. It looked like a kohaku with a shitty grey, really light grey, not pleasant base. But now it's actually forming. It's started to look something like, and even that's nowhere near done. When it gets to the level of nearly being done, trust me, be absolutely transformational. It's quite a special one. So that'll be on the WhatsApp group as soon as I've got it set up. Stand by for that one. And we'll probably get the draw on that one done on Monday, or even probably see no reason to do it Sunday night when I'm live for the auction. So there we go. So thank you for everyone who's tuned in. Glad to get caught up on this week's question time, and cheers. Have a great weekend, and